Are any of you guys out there really into Goth Women, but the White Forest deck is either too expensive for someone like you to play? If you're looking for a deck full of Goth Dominatrix mommies, I'd say Konami has you covered. They actually did research into their player base and they came up with the anime support or the Allure Queen archetype.
Can you step on me, please?
Sure.
The Allure Queen archetype is a deck of level-based monsters, which you don't hear too much anymore. The last ones we got were like Armed Dragon. Their whole gimmick is literally stealing the opponent's monsters. Like, it doesn't get more dominatrix than that, like literally being taken and just used as someone's thing.
Wow. Everything I've dreamed.
That's the whole essence of a dominatrix, and if you're looking to fulfill that niche in a goth mommy package, Allure Queens are going to be the perfect deck. So we have the ultimate Allure Queen, which is the Allure Queen level 7, is the final evolution, the largest evolution of the Allure Queens from its initial support, and it's like she's a slim thick goth mommy. Now sadly, if you're looking at this artwork that I'm showing on the screen right now, this is the OCG artwork and censored her very nice thighs here in TCG, but the essence is still the same. She doesn't lose any of her aura, her looks. Maybe, you know, she's a little just more reserved in the TCG. You know, she has a bit of a more reserved outfit compared to her OCG counterpart. I think they made up for that with the introduction of Chaos Allure Queen, because although the thighs don't look thick in the artwork, you can kind of use your imagination. She kind of got the booty perking out a bit. I do find it a little funny that the further Allure Queen goes up her level, like level 3 is it's a lot more reserved, a lot more subtle, and then you get to level 5, she's showing a bit more elbow, she's kind of letting herself loose a little more, and then level 7 is just like slim thick, armpits out, feet out, everything just is there. It's a proper evolution line of, you know, the goth woman. You have the Chaos Allure Queen, who is just like almost this like final evolution of Allure Queen, but taking a different direction. Almost like when you have like a split Pokemon evolution, where you have like the first stage, the second stage, and then the third stage can be one of two different things. That's kind of what Chaos Allure Queen is, because she's showing the feet as well. She kind of got the thighs going on, but and she got the armpits out, but you know, she's taking a different approach to it, so it has its own unique vibe. Now she's wearing like this black fit, and she got like little flames around her dress is like flowing out from the bottom. It's looking pretty fire, and she got the little rings around her legs as well, kind of giving this whole thing. So I thought this archetype had really interesting artwork. It definitely meets the waifu deck requirements, right, when it comes to witchcrafters and dragon maids and all these other decks that are like decks that people play just because they have, you know, women. So I was wondering, why aren't people covering the potential of Allure Queen? They recently got a new field spell that basically says, hey, summon any spellcaster 1500 or less from your deck, essentially, right? Obviously there's a whole combo line that you have to go through, but is this not one of the craziest effects you could put onto a card? Sure, it requires some setup, but like that's a lot of payoff if it resolves. So I can't imagine why I'm not seeing people experiment or like having fun with this, when this seems to be one of the most fun archetypes I've come across in recent years. So I wanted to give you guys a little combo exhibition, right? And essentially what you need is either Allure Dance or the field spell. Now, here's the funny thing about Allure Dance, right? So it adds either the field spell or Allure Palace. So essentially it gives you 6 copies of field spell, not considering terraforming or set rotation. So that can go all the way up to 8 copies of field spell that you're playing. And once you read the field spell, you understand. Now, you don't need to open level 3, but I think it's better if you open level 3, because this deck is very susceptible to draw and lockbird. Basically doesn't make this combo exist. Let's pretend hand traps don't exist for this one video. I know we're doing that a lot more often here. on the channel, but let's just pretend hand traps don't exist. We're not playing this deck to be meta or to try to make it meta. There might be potential, shit, but the way I'm playing it, I'm not playing it in a intention to be meta. I'm playing it just to show what the engine can do. You're gonna need at least 2 discards. So I don't know if I'm allowed to call this 2.5 card, but like when it's 2 discards instead of 1, it's not exactly 3.5 card because you don't need that 3rd card really. If anything, you really only need the 1 field spell or Allure Dance and like 3 cards to discard, or you can open field spell plus level 3 plus 2 cards. So that's the variation. So Allure Dance is going to grab you Allure Palace, right? And I have to do a lot of explaining as to why we're doing things this way, but basically the palace is their little queendom. Up to 3 times per turn you can take an Allure Queen monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it to your opponent's field. So we're going to use this effect once to special summon Allure Queen level 3 to the opponent's field. So now we're going to use it again, and we're doing this preemptively so that we can play around a card like Imperm, which I know I just said hand traps don't exist, but just hear me out. So we're putting level 5 on their field as well. So we've just summoned 2 monsters to their side of the field. It feels like we're giving them, like we're doing their work for them. But what's actually going to happen, the more astute among you would know that Allure Queen level 3 gets to snatch level 3 or lower monsters your opponent controls and then equip it to her. Now, while the field spell is on the field, every Allure Queen monster with an equip card attached by its own effect gets to send itself to the grave and summon any spellcaster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. That is not once per turn. I mean, the cost is sending it to graveyard. It won't be able to activate and then activate again using the same card, but it's not once per turn essentially. You can use this effect as many times as you can get an Allure Queen monster with an equip card equipped by its own effect. You can summon spellcasters from the deck, which is absolutely insane. Since it becomes the monster's effect, it's the monster that's activating, so they can't really touch the field spell when you do this. And we're going to send level 3 to bring out level 5. Now, here's the thing about level 5 and level 7. Level 5 and level 7, they need to be summoned by the Allure Queen of the previous level to have their effects be live. So for level 5 to be able to activate, it needs to be summoned off of level 3. So because we summoned it off of level 3, we can now steal the Allure Queen level 5. Now, you really don't need to summon level 5 to your opponent's field here. You can easily just put another level 3 or any Allure Queen monster really on their field, but it's just for the sake of continuity, I decided to put Allure Queen level 5 on their field. These monsters don't have a lot of attack normally, and now you're seeing level 5 sitting at 2500. Well, that's because Dance Allure Queen monsters gain attack equal to the attack of the monster that they have equipped. Queen level 5 has 1000, so it gains 1000, and then they also gain 500 more thanks to the field spell. So they're going to stack up the attack points really quickly using some of these effects and, you know, using some of the support. So we just used Allure Queen level 5 to summon any spellcaster from our deck with less than 1500 attack, right? Well, I know I kind of alluded to not using White Forest, but hear me out. This is one of the most susceptible to hand trap combo lines you can think of. But if you had to think of the spellcaster that would get you the most payoff for being summoned off a field spell, I can't think of a better spellcaster than this. I can think of other options that would do different things, but I can't think of something of a single card that could do more than a Stellar of the White Forest. So we all know the White Forest combo is going to have a slight variation when we're doing it here. So a Stellar is going to get us into Sylvie. Sylvie is going to get us into Tails. Slaya is going to drop Tails for cost on res, search Performage Damage Juggler. Now we're getting kind of spicy, right? Like Performages, White Forest, Allure Queen, what? All in the same engine? Technically a 1.5 card combo if you have 3 discards. We're gonna search that, and then both a Stellar and Tails with Trigger and Graveyard, so we get our extra spellcaster and we get to reset Tails. Now we get to activate Tails to search the Azamina Elzet, And Azamina Elset's going to be very important because it gets to summon itself, and then you can use it for a synchro summon of Diabell, in which you can chainlink 1, chainlink 2. So Diabell is going to add back our field spell so that we can keep utilizing its effect. And Azamina Elset is going to search as a simple spoils card. Now, for the sake of argument, in this particular scenario, you could have easily sent Allure Dance to the graveyard, but Allure Dance can only be activated once per turn. So if you sent it and then you grabbed it back, it wouldn't be able to be placed on field again. So it's better that you send the field spell that doesn't have an activation restriction like Allure Dance does. And I'm sure you've already guessed which Simple Spoils card we're going to search. Wanted Poster, right? Grab Palace, right, and then activate the Palace again. Go Wanted, want to get Diabell Star. Drop Damage Juggler. Okay, now we're cooking, right? Get Deception, Damage Juggler banish, grab Trick Clown. I'm sure you guys are starting to see the vision, right? Tribute Trick Clown from hand. Grab Hollowed, Trick Clown summon itself back. Hollowed, go for Rusialago. Rusialago, grab our Morgan. Or it's called Moriand in TCG, but I think Morgan would have been a cooler name. Link off into IP using the Diabell Star and the Rusialago, just because we want to recycle our hollowed Azamina. And although we could use the Azamina Elset to recycle, I do like using Rusialago. Now we can activate hollowed Azamina again, sending our Morian to go for Sylvia, excuse me. And now we have an Omni Negate. Now, in this particular scenario, we could have started with a Diabell Star. If you just needed 2 discards and field spell, starting with Diabell Star could have gotten you a combo that could have drawn you a card. So essentially, it's a 1-card line, and you set up an Omni Negate, and you get that card that you discarded back. You'd have an Omni Negate if you open Diabell Star, and you'd still be able to go through the Allure Palace line, because it doesn't matter how many monsters you control or your opponent controls, you can still do this Allure Palace line. If you open it, you can start with it. If you don't, you can still get to it. And this isn't even the end, right? Like this is not the end board. So, funnily enough, we're gonna use Sylvie in graveyard to shuffle back one of our synchros, or the only synchro that we can, right? Reclea, and to summon itself back. Quick effect once per turn. No real restriction on that. And here's the beautiful thing, right? We have some extra spellcaster monsters on field now. And you would think, like, okay, we can synchro summon again, we can maybe make a Celine or something. No, we're gonna go even further beyond, right? So here's the one thing about Allure Queen, its Link monster needs 3 spellcaster monsters. So to be able to make this in engine is not that difficult, but to be able to make this without using the engine, having the ability to swarm, would be very difficult if we're purely talking about Allure Queen. But when you mix War Mages and White Forest, this is like the ultimate payoff for Allure Queen monsters. Now, when it's Link summoned, it gets to summon any Allure Queen monster from deck or grave, so it's pretty convenient. And if you do, it gains 1500 attack until the end of your next turn. This is really important, right? So you can activate the effects of your monsters with Allure Queen in their names that equip monsters to themselves as quick effects. One important distinction should be made. The original Allure Queen monsters, and even in their modern printings, say once per turn during your main phase. If you try to interpret Golden Allure Queen at face value, you think that, oh, these are only quick effects in the main phase. That is not correct. It is a quick effect in any phase. So they are just quick effects, period. It takes out the during the main phase and it just becomes a quick effect. Essentially, you just get to summon an Allure Queen monster. Now, she is not Allure Queen level 5. She is not Allure Queen level 3. So if you summon anyone other than Allure Queen level 3 with her, it won't be able to activate its effect unless you go for the Chaos Allure Queen. So it's really only between level 3 and Chaos Allure Queen that can be summoned off, or that should be summoned off of your Link monster. Now, she also has an effect kind of like the Ice Jade Synchro, where if your opponent activates a card or effect, it can pop a card on field. It doesn't have to be the card that it responded to. And then for the rest of the turn, Allure Queen monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects. So she brings herself up to 4,000, 45 if you control the field spell. And then she brings out an Allure Queen monster, and then she makes the Allure Queen monster a quick effect, or she makes all Allure Queen monsters quick effect while she's on field. And she also has a quick effect pop. Like, there's not even like a trigger effect, that's like a quick effect pop, like chained to something, right? The monster we summoned is Chaos Allure Queen, right? So Chaos Allure Queen, if you open her, she's fine, right? Because she can discard another light or dark monster, special summon this card from your hand. Now on field is you can target a monster in either graveyard. It's not just light or dark, it's any monster in either graveyard. She's a dominatrix bestial while you control the link monster. And then if you equipped a light or dark monster, you can special summon one dark Allure Queen monster from your deck or graveyard. Now here's the thing, this is a hard once per turn, but she can have more than one equip card to her. You can stack up her equip cards each turn, right? So it's not just during your turn that you can do one, you can do another one on the opponent's turn, another one on your turn, and you can just keep equipping cards to her. And since it's a quick effect, you can snatch monsters out of your opponent's graveyard just in time for them to not be able to do something about it. Who are we going to equip with the Chaos Allure Queen? We're going to equip the Allure Queen level 5. Here's the thing. This is the part that I forgot to mention, and this is really important. This is really important. You target a monster in either graveyard, equip it to this card as an equip spell, and if you do, this card's name becomes that equipped monster's name. So by equipping Allure Queen level 5, and then also adding the effect to summon an Allure Queen monster, equip monster's name, then if you equip a light or dark monster by this effect, you can special summon an Allure Queen monster from your deck or graveyard. Meaning, it's A, then B, so it gets the name, then it summons Allure Queen level 7, playing around the level restriction effect of Allure Queen level 7, and now you have your ultimate Goth Mommy on field. I mean, I guess Golden Allure Queen is setting all of this up, so she's really the baddest bitch on board right now, but you know, Allure Queen level 7 is going to do some pretty good cool shit as well. So essentially, Allure Queen level 7, quick effect, since it was summoned by Allure Queen level 5, you can select one monster on the opponent's side of the field and equip it to this card. I don't know why EDO Pro doesn't have it updated with its PSCT, but it definitely targets. Because I was gonna say, if it didn't target, that would be crazy. But if you look in the Yu-Gi-Oh database, it does say target. They also don't have the artwork updated, so I imagine that's part of the reason. That's the whole reason I even looked at this deck. I looked at Allure Queen, I saw level 7, I was like, damn, what is this deck working with? What's all that movement back there? Okay, so she definitely does target an opponent's monster and equips it to her. She makes it her bitch, you know, per se. She dominates that monster. And if she were to be destroyed by battle, the equipped monster is destroyed instead. And Golden Allure Queen can also protect her from card effects. So essentially you have a monster that would not be able to be destroyed by card effects or by battle. So this is the end board. Now, I want to bring up a point real quick before this combo ends, right? So this is the last thing that you do during your turn, but Diabell, right? So you have Diabell, you have IP, you have Sylvia. Sylvia attributes for cost. They activate anything, Omni Negate. They do anything, Omni Negate. They activate anything, you don't have to send Field Spell, you don't have to send Allure Dance, because Allure Dance not only increases the attack of your Allure Queen monsters equal to their equip cards, but it also is a soul charge for Allure Queen monsters. Actually, that's the hidden effect of this card, right? It was already good enough adding Field Spell or Allure Queen monsters, giving them more attack, and then it has a hidden effect to where you can send another spell and trap you control to the graveyard, including the equipped monsters that you equip off your Allure Queens, to then summon as many Allure Queen monsters with different names as possible from your graveyard. That includes the Link monster, that includes Chaos Allure Queen, that includes level 7, level 3, level 5. That's up to 5 monsters for free if your board just gets wiped. So there's an argument that Nibiru is not a significant hand trap against this deck, because this deck would still be able to play somewhat through a Nibiru, if they have Allure Dance, that is. So again, I know this is La La Land, where hand traps don't exist, but if they did, it wouldn't be an immediate game over. This isn't like your average combo deck, right? Where, well, I mean, the average is pretty high nowadays. This isn't your like table, well, it might be table 500. This isn't just your balls to the wall combo deck. It does have some provisions and some sauce to make sure that it can play through certain things. So Diabel, who can also send your equip spells to graveyard to activate her effect to summon Sylvia, to summon Rhysea if you need the follow-up and you don't need the interruption. And you have IP Masquerena, who can pivot between SP, or it can pivot between Selene, because you know you have multiple spellcasters on field, and Chaos Allure Queen, who will be able to summon another Allure Queen monster if you equip a light or dark, meaning you can get possibly another Allure Queen level 3 on the field. Or in my build, I'm only playing one level 7, so if you use level 7, then link it off with IP, then you can use Chaos Allure Queen to then reattach another level 5, the other level 5 you have in your graveyard, summon back level 7 from the graveyard. Now she's live again because it's a soft once per turn, and you still have that Selene or SP Little Knight, and you still have an extra swallow off of level 7. So essentially you just protect the queen, and the queen gives you everything you need for this deck. There are multiple queens here, but I think the Golden Allure Queen is like doing the Lord's work with this archetype. Like, you give this deck like a decent link monster, and you just work with the different kinds of supports that this deck can utilize, and you'll have everything that you need. Oh, almost forgot. Simple spoils. Before you end your turn, because you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster, that's why some white forest decks have started playing this card. It's just a Book of Moon for a special summon monster. But it's because it works so well with the combo lines that like allow you to send it to grave, and then you can just reset it once, you know, all your turn is said and done. And that also doesn't change the fact that we haven't even used our wanted draw yet, and that Deception is supposed to come back at the end of the turn. You definitely don't need it. Like, after that first turn, you don't need to bring Deception back. Like, you can shuffle back, bring back Hollowed as Amina, and then use some of your other Simple Spoils cards to take full advantage of summoning out Sylvia again. So this is a pretty fun deck and end board, as you can imagine. There's a lot going on here, but it's just pretty cool how everything kind of works together to build the ultimate Goth Dami Mommy field. Right, so wanted draw, and then again we have follow up if our board gets broken. We have at least 8 interruptions. So I decided to draw a random hand, and yes, we are using at least one Ball Balancer, because Ball Balancer is kind of goated. And we actually didn't even draw any Allure Queen engine here. And I thought this is a really interesting hand to go through, because it's like, if we didn't draw any Allure Queen, how are we going to get into the Allure Queen engine? Well, watch and learn, right? So we go Diabel Star, go Deception Tribute Trick Clown. Trick Clown's gonna bring itself back. Go Hollowed, bring out Rusialago. Rusialago's gonna add Morian drop for Diabel Star. And this time we get to set the Reclea, right? Because Allure Queen level 7, Chaos Allure Queen is a level 7, Diabel Star is a level 7. So you should have plenty of opportunity to be able to activate this card. Just same reason you played it in Dark Magician, right? Morian gets to reset itself, go for IP, go for Hollowed, put back Rusialago. You don't have to keep both of these on the field. I think we're gonna send the Reclea. Yeah. So now, I did actually kind of goof. I was supposed to do this the other way. I was supposed to send Morian for the Hollowed and then send the Reclea for Stellar, because right now, because it was set off of its own effect, it gets banished when it leaves field, so it can't be sent as cost for a Stellar. So that was a slight blunder on my part, but thankfully we got the wanted draw and we drew into a spell or trap card, so we get Never Punished, right? So we go Sylvie, grab Tails, Go Reclea, send Tails, and we get to add the Chaos Allure Queen. So if we're able to still make the Reclea using the Simple Spoils engine and the White Forest stuff, which is, once you see the list, it's not very likely. But if you take that probability and you mix it with the probability of opening the field spell or the Allure Dance, then it starts to become a little bit more likely that you'll start to see either White Forest or the field spell or both in your opening hand. So it's somewhat consistent. Like you're not gonna brick a lot with this deck. So you go Tails, right? Add Azamina Alzette. And as you can see, we just have like 2 spellcasters here just sitting here, right? So we have Ball Balancer in hand, able to summon itself at any time to go for our Link 3. And now it's like, because our engines work so well together, we have the ability to make the Allure Queen Link 3 without really thinking too hard about it. It's just the engines already spit out spellcaster monsters. So you don't have to make your line based around that. Like, look, our line is based around Sylvia, Diabell, setting up IP, and this is kind of just the cherry on top. It's not really the main entree. So Diabell is going to bring back the Infinite Impermanence that we milled, and Azamina Alzette gets to add back the Reclea that we milled, or that we sent to the grave off of a Stellar, right? Because we already used Wanted, we already used Deception. Morian's right here, so this is the last Simple Spoils card in our deck. So now Ball Balancer gets to be summoned. Then we get to Link 3 for the Golden Allure Queen. Now, even though we added Chaos Allure Queen to hand, I still decided to summon it here because I believe it has the best opportunity to get me to where I want to be. So Allure Queen is going to re-equip Trick Clown, and then it's going to summon level 5. Now, think about this for a second, right? Why are we summoning level 5 here? Well, if we mix level 5 with IP, it's going to be sent to the graveyard, and as long as we control Golden Allure Queen, next turn, this can be a really good way, or this can be equipped off of Chaos Allure Queen's effect. It's going to summon level 7 with its effect, meaning we get to have 2 swallows, or we get to have multiple swallows off of Allure Queen level 7. Still, even though we didn't open it, we didn't open any of it. It can be argued with this deck that you don't even really need the field spell if you wanted to play an Allure Queen as like a sub-engine or as like a supplement to what like White Forest Perform Age can do. But yeah, I just really love that the engine is so accessible because you have so many spellcaster monsters that can swarm the field. And so now we have essentially what is the full Allure Queen setup ready to go. So we're going to set the Infinite, the Reclea, Deception gets to do whatever, I guess, right? So opponent's turn, right? Reclea, this is a board wipe. I'm just activating this now because I just want to get the Spell and Trap Zone free, right? As I said, you really don't have to set Deception after you go for Sylvia the first time. We're doing that so that we can go IP, right? IP into SP, SP banish 1, and then we can go Chaos Allure Queen, right? Chaos Allure Queen can then attach level 5, summon level 7 from deck, and now level 7's, swallow for monsters, and you have SP, and you have Sylvia, and you have Diabell, and you have Golden Allure Queen, and you have Allure Queen level 7. Now, Chaos Allure Queen here, she's kind of already used her effect, but that's still plenty of interruptions that we have set up so that we can get the most out of our board, right? Like, if this Deception wasn't here, I think this fucking field would be perfect. Because then Allure Queen level 7 would be able to swallow, SP banish, Sylvia tribute, Diabell send Trick Clown, right? Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy ass interaction, but it's possible. Very much possible thanks to this deck. If you've gotten to this point in the video and said, man, you've said a lot, and this goth Dami Mommy thing is great, but none of these words are in the Bible, I understand you, completely understand where you're coming. But I think Allure Queen is a really interesting archetype, and I just wanted to showcase some of its potential since I felt like, why the fuck aren't people talking about this? Because it's just so fun. Like, this is one of the funnest decks I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. and you're utilizing Performage, you're utilizing a really old level archetype. Well, it's not really an archetype. Level as an archetype has gotten like 0 support in like maybe over a decade, probably well over a decade actually, if I'm thinking about it. And I just don't understand why they haven't. Like, it's not like there's no level card that would be stupid broken, like not even Silent Swordsman in my opinion, if it got like support. I think Armed Dragon has proved that unequivocally. You see our 8 copies of Field Spell, Secret Village here, since as a set rotation target. Either we open it and we make the opponent's life miserable, or we just slap it on their field and they can't use it because they don't play Spellcat. And since we only really need 1 field spell, it doesn't matter if they set with this face down because they're probably not going to want to activate it. That's perfectly fine with us. Triple Chaos Allure Coin, right? Because this is technically a starter and an extender. I guess if you put more emphasis into the White Forest side of things, you could play less, but I think I like it just as one of the Allure Queen cards. Triple level 3, simply because you want to start the line with Palace by 3 swallowing a monster. And obviously if you're not going second, your opponent needs a monster for you to swallow. So Allure Queen level 3 could be really good there to set you up into 5, and then 5, drop 1 more. Now, to be fair, you could go from Allure Queen level 3 all the way through the line as well. You don't have to go for level 5, but not going for level 5 basically makes like you can't go for level 7 unless you go for level 5 as well. There's Damage Juggler, right? With how excited I sounded about Goth Girls, I probably kept you guys pretty distracted, but Clown Girls are here too. If you're into that Clussy, that perfect deck for you. Your Field Spell discards, the Ballstar Sinful Engine discards. So Damage Juggler, Trick Clown are pretty good here, and Damage Juggler is great with the Clea since it's searchable. So I figured it's like maybe play more Damage Juggler to get me to Trick Clown. Since I'm going to want to discard multiple cards, I'd rather get the Damage Juggler. And I like that if I have to draw a Trick Clown, I have Fire Dancer, who on normal or special summon, meaning if you really wanted to get kind of spicy, Performage with Allure Queen might be something that's out there. You could summon this off Field Spell and either grab your Ball Balancer, your Damage Juggler, or your Trick Clown as well, in case you either A, already have access into the White Forest engine, or B, don't care about the White Forest, or if you're just not playing the White. So then we have White Forest package. It takes up a lot of space, and that's why I'm thinking maybe playing both of these in the same list might not be the move. I just wanted to show the potential of all these different engines working together. Super Poly here because Magus' Chirozzo has slowly become one of the best Super Poly targets, because it's just any Spellcaster monster plus any extra deck monster your opponent controls. Fusion, Synchro, Exceeder, Link, and your entire deck Spellcaster. So this could be a really good way to like clear boards. And because it, Super Poly doesn't target, it doesn't need to be an extra monster zone or any zone in particular. It could be a really good way to just break the board, get rid of those like problematic cards like Caesar, Desiree, and just get a funny little body on field. Also, because it's tuner, if you're stuck with the Azamina LZ and nothing else, but you're able to make a Chirozzo, you're still able to start playing into the White Forest Synchro monsters, so that also makes it really good. Double points if your opponent also controls a Spellcaster. Imperm, and then Mori. Extra deck here is self-explanatory. Dweller is just here because you have access to level 4s, and I was thinking what's the best generic for Exceed? It's low maintenance. I think Dweller is it. So going into the side deck, Chaos Allure Queen is like a 1.5 card, rank 7 without using your normal summon. I think Melodious would have like killed for that like a few formats ago. I mean, they had Appaloosa back then, so their engine was a lot better, making the Absolute into the Vortex with all the stuff that they needed. But now it's like they don't really go for Vortexes often, and I'm just left thinking like maybe if they use something like this without locking themselves, as long as they can get a Pendulum into the extra deck, which I believe they can, because usually the Pendulums can be used as fusion material or something. And when that's the case, you can easily get to a Vortex Dragon, like go from like an Absolute to a Vortex at some point in your combo line. And so basically it's Chaos Allure Queen with any light or dark monster summons out the Allure Queen level 7. So you can't just play 3 of her, you do have to play the one level 7, but that's perfectly fine, because if you open her plus level 7, you could drop level 7 to summon her. You just have to equip a different lighter dark monster. You don't have to equip a monster on summon. You can equip a monster anytime. So you can just use your engine to put more light monsters in graveyard in the Melodious case, and then just, you know, equip any one of them, get level 7 on field, and then overlay with level 7 to absolute link off with the absolute. In a Perform H deck where there's less light monsters, there still is light and dark, but there's less of them. I'm not sure how much better this would be, but I still think it's something worth considering, worth looking. Valence was something I was thinking about for a while, but I just didn't like the extra deck lock, or the non-extra deck lock, where it's like I wouldn't be able to like use like Chaos Allure Queen, but essentially, like if I were to use these to make the Golden Allure Queen would not be able to summon the Allure Queen monster with its link summon effect, which would essentially make the card worthless. There would be no point for me playing that to go for that. Secret Sanctuary, this is something of Floodgate, where if you control a spellcaster and another spell, which, you know, field spell or dance, then your opponent, any monster your opponent summons, cannot attack or activate its effect deck. Now, if your opponent can activate a spell card, right? So if they can get a spell card on field, then this effect will no longer apply, meaning this is a really like high maintenance card that can be easily played around. But it's still something I think is pretty interesting to like think about and be used. Now, Penswork, right? 1500 attack. His effect is on special summon, and that means that if you special summon him off the field spell, he can just pop 2, add 2 perform. Sadly, he can't add perform mages, because I feel like that would have been really good if we wanted to go a perform mage Allure Queen direction, but I think this is fine. Like if you just want to make like a pendulum variant of this, and you know, I just went through like Monkey Board, Lizard Draw, just some Celestial Magician, although this one is more during end phase to be able to search. I still think it's cool that it's an option. Valmonica was an option, although I didn't think it was a great one. It's still something that you can do. Crowley, what is interesting is that with your Chaos Allure Queen, it can equip Artemis from graveyard. There was one line where I used Artemis to clear up a space in my main monster zone, and when that was the case, right, so it's like a line where you don't summon IP because you either don't have Diabalsa or something, you can just link off into Artemis, and then Artemis can be used as an equip card for Chaos Allure Queen, assuming you already use level 5, and then while it's equipped, it can add a Magistus monster from deck to hand. So I was thinking what Magistus monster to add, and I'm thinking maybe we can add this Crowley, and this Crowley can get us access into some of the best invoke fusions and stuff like that. So that could be really cool in the future when this Magistus stuff comes out in TCG. Now we have the Queen Simps, right? Every goth girl has their Simps, right? Allure Queen has a whole army of them. So, you know, this is just what they do, and they stop Allure Queen from being selected as an attack target, which is great. They don't even protect themselves. We must protect our queens. That's all this deck does, right? And there's Magician's Restage. So I thought it was interesting because it could both revive level 3, and it could be sent to grave for Palace. It could be sent to grave for Dance's second effect. It could be sent to grave Diabel, the White Forest stuff, and it could get us a search as well for 2 very weird cards. But cards that I think like may have some utility in the future, but they're just very weird. Magician's Left Hand, where the first trap your opponent activates is negated while you control spellcast, and it can search either one. It is also not a once per turn on the search. So if you open multiple of these, it is just kind of nutty. It also doesn't negate the effects of the monster that it's summoned. It's really weird because in some strange world, this seems like a good card, but it just isn't for some reason. And it's just so weird. Like, I don't know how to feel about this card. It's good, it's just not enough to be played. I thought about Rainbow Bridge, but too bricky. I told you about Absolute. I know winter just left a few days ago, and we're in spring now, but this is looking like it's snow bunny season. And if it's snowing and you're ready to get going, I think Allure Queen could be the deck for you. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This has been your boy Nistro here, signing out.